guide me where brains go to broadcast.
Hey there, you. Ever find yourself staring at just a mountain of information, maybe for a big presentation or a crucial report or just, a new topic you're really curious about and feel like you're completely drowning?
Oh, yeah.
Like you know what you want to say, but maybe not quite how to say it clearly, or even just where to start.
It's such a common feeling. Information overload is definitely real. But what if there was a simple yet really powerful tool, something to cut through all that noise, organize your thoughts, and actually make your message land?
Mm-hmm.
Well, our deep dive today is all about that. Outlining. And we're drawing our insights from outlining.pdf, which is just a fantastic guide to structuring your thoughts, basically turning those raw ideas into, coherent communication.
Right. And our mission today, it isn't just to tell you what an outline is. You probably remember that from school, right? But it's to reveal its true power. We want to show you how outlining isn't some dusty old assignment. It's actually a fundamental skill for organizing complex ideas, for distilling huge amounts of information, and making sure your voice, your message, truly lands with impact.
You think of it like building a strong, clear skeleton for your brilliant ideas,
Sure.
making sure they stand tall and make perfect sense to anyone listening or reading.
Exactly. Ready to dig in.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's unpack this first bit. Our source, it immediately hits us with this idea that after you've gathered all your info, done some brainstorming maybe, the real magic, the clarity, it comes from organization. You start seeing connections, patterns, maybe even realizing, oh, there are gaps in my thinking here. But until you actually organize those thoughts, they're just kind of floating around.
That's exactly it. And what's fascinating here, I think, is how truly organized writing isn't just about being neat on the page. It's a direct reflection of your analytical thinking, your critical thinking.
How?
Well, the order you choose, what comes first, second, third overview, it's never just random, or it shouldn't be. It's deeply tied to your specific purpose for writing. So like if you're painting a picture with words, maybe you move visually, foreground to background.
Okay.
Or if you're building an argument, maybe you go from the least important point to the most important, building momentum. It's all about guiding your audience effectively.
So it's really about being strategic. Highly strategic, especially when you're dealing with longer pieces, right? Where different sections might even need different organizational tactics.
Precisely. It all has to work together to develop your main point. It's like a conductor leading different sections of an orchestra, but they all contribute to the whole symphony.
Nice analogy. And speaking of strategy, our source highlights these 3 foundational methods for ordering your writing, kind of the main building blocks you choose from. Chronological order, spatial order, and order of importance.
Which immediately brings up the big question for you, the writer. Which one of these methods actually serves your purpose best? Let's break them down a bit. Okay. First, chronological order. This is your go-to when you need to explain, say, the history of something, tell a story step by step, relate an experience as it happened, or explain a process, like, how to assemble something or how software works.
Right, following a timeline. Makes sense.
Exactly. Then you've got spatial order. You use this when your main goal is to help your reader visualize something just as you see it.
Ah, okay.
Think of guiding them through a physical space or describing something vividly. You're engaging their senses sight, maybe touch, taste, smell, sound, to create a really strong main impression. It's kind of like a guided tour in words.
I like that, a guided tour. Okay, and the third one?
Order of importance. This is your method if you're aiming to persuade or convince or maybe just rank things by how significant they are or their benefit or impact.
So like in an argument.
Right. You'd present your points maybe from least important to most important, building your case. Or sometimes maybe you start with the most important, depending on the effect you want and what you really want to stick in the reader's mind at the end.
Got it. So the big takeaway here seems to be that your purpose, why you're writing, that should always be the guiding star. It dictates the order, how you group things. It ensures you're not just dumping information, but presenting it effectively.
Absolutely. Purpose is everything.
Now, every piece of nonfiction, whether it's a short email or, a massive research paper, needs what our source calls a big idea or a controlling idea. This sounds pretty central.
It is central. It's the absolute spine of your work, the main argument or message you want to get across.
Okay.
And that controlling idea, that big idea, is articulated in what we call a thesis statement. It's usually just one concise sentence, maybe 2 sometimes, but it's packed with your specific point of view.
Ah, so it's not just the topic itself.
No, exactly. That's crucial. A thesis isn't just saying, I'm writing about music piracy. It's stating what you have to say about music piracy. Your perspective, your argument, the core thing you want your readers to understand or believe.
Okay, that distinction is important.
And honestly, its real power might be that it forces you, the writer, to clarify your own thoughts first. It often reveals weaknesses or gaps in your own thinking before you even start writing the body of the work.
That's a really good point. And the source gives some great examples comparing a simple topic to a strong thesis. Let's see.
Yeah, those are helpful.
Okay, topic. Music piracy. Thesis. The recording industry fears that so-called music piracy will diminish profits and destroy markets, but it cannot be more wrong. Whoa, okay, that's a clear stance.
Definitely argumentative.
Or topic. The number of consumer choices available in media gear. Thesis. Everyone wants the newest and the best digital technology, but the choices are extensive and the specifications are often confusing. You know immediately what that piece is going to tackle.
Right, the problem it's addressing.
And this one's interesting. Topic. Online education and the new media. Thesis. Someday, students and teachers will send avatars to their online classrooms. That's pretty provocative.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes you want to read on to see how they'll argue that. These examples really show how a thesis takes a broad subject and injects an argument, a specific angle, a perspective. And it's important to remember, the very first thesis you write down, it's usually what we call a preliminary or working thesis.
Ah, so it's not set in stone.
Not at all. It's your starting point, your guide for organizing the outline.
Yeah.
But it's flexible. You'll likely refine it, maybe narrow it down if it's too broad, or expand it if it turns out to be too limited, as your ideas take shape during the outlining and writing process. It's iterative. I mean, I've definitely rewritten thesis statements multiple times to get the wording just right.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so you've got this powerful working thesis guiding you. Now it's time to actually build the skeleton, the outline itself. The source mentions informal outlines first.
Right. For really quick tasks, maybe prepping for a short meeting or jotting notes for an exam answer, an informal outline might be enough. Just quickly listing key ideas in a logical order to keep yourself focused.
Makes sense. Quick and dirty.
Exactly. But for longer, more complex stuff, essays, reports, research papers, formal outlines are often required, and honestly, they're incredibly useful, even when not required.
Why is that?
Because a formal outline is much more detailed. It's like a hierarchical map. It visually shows how all your supporting ideas connect back to your main points, and ultimately back to the thesis. It helps you see the relationships, distinguish major points from minor details.
So it's the framework.
It's the essential framework, yeah. And actually, many instructors ask you to submit one with your final paper, so it becomes this living document you might revise as your writing evolves.
Okay. And there are two main types of these formal outlines.
Correct. The topic outline and the sentence outline. They share the same basic structure, which is quite specific and really helps with the clarity and logic.
All right, let's talk structure. How does that work?
Okay. It's pretty standardized, which is helpful.
Yeah.
You start with Roman numeral I. That's usually for your introduction, and you'll state your thesis statement there.
Got it. Intro and thesis. Roman I.
Then you use Roman numerals, 2, 3, 4, and so on, for your major points. These are the main arguments or sections that develop your thesis. Think of these often becoming the topic sentences for your body paragraphs.
Okay, main points get Roman numerals.
Right. Then, to break down those main points, you indent and use capital letters, A, B, C, etc. These divide your main points into their key supporting ideas or components.
A, B, C under the Roman numerals.
Okay. If you need to get even more specific, you indent again and use Arabic numerals, 1, 2, 3, etc., for smaller details or examples supporting the A, B, C points.
So it gets more granular.
Exactly. And the outline typically concludes with the final Roman numeral reserved for your conclusion idea.
And you mentioned indentation. That's visually important.
Oh, super important. The indentation is what makes the hierarchy instantly clear. You can just glance at it and see how ideas relate, what's a main point, what's supporting it. It's like a visual map of your logic.
Right, I can see that.
And here's a really critical rule for formal outlines. It trips some people up, but it's actually very useful for ensuring solid structure.
Okay, what's the rule?
You can't subdivide a point if you only have one subpoint. Meaning, if you have a Roman numeral 2, you must have at least a 3. If you have an A, you must have at least a B. If you have a 1, you must have at least a 2.
Huh. So no lonely subpoints.
Exactly. It's not just an arbitrary rule. It forces you to ensure balance and completeness. If you find you only have one subpoint, like just an A under 2, it often means that idea isn't really a subpoint. Maybe it should be part of the main point above it, or perhaps it needs more development and you need to find a B. It encourages thorough thinking.
That actually makes a lot of sense when you explain it that way. It forces you to flesh things out or rethink the structure. Okay, so let's look at the two types again. Topic outline and sentence outline. First, the topic outline.
Right. The topic outline uses just words or short phrases for all the headings instead of complete sentences.
So it's more concise.
Yeah, it keeps the outline shorter, quicker to scan and grasp the main structure.
Okay. Anything special to watch out for with topic outlines?
Yes, one crucial detail. Parallel structure. All the headings at the same level must use the same grammatical form.
Parallel structure. Explain that a bit.
Sure. So if your point A under Roman numeral 2 is a noun phrase like economic factors, then points B and C under 2 should also be noun phrases like social implications, political responses. You wouldn't suddenly switch to a verb phrase like analyzing the politics.
Keep it consistent dramatically.
Exactly. It creates consistency and makes the logical flow much smoother and clearer.
Got it. Our source also has this handy checklist for topic outlines. I think it's worth mentioning. It seems like a good self-check for you listening.
Yeah, that's useful.
It asks things like, do you have a clear controlling idea, your thesis? Do you have at least, say, 3 main points connected to it? Is the outline in the best order, chronological, spatial importance for your purpose?
Crucial check.
Do you have enough supporting details under each point? And if not, where do you need more research or evidence? And finally, based on the outline, do you maybe need to tweak your working thesis? It's like a feedback loop.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
That last point is key. The outline informs the thesis, and the thesis guides the outline.
Okay, then there's the other type, the sentence outline. How's that different?
Structurally, it's identical.
Yeah.
Same Roman numerals, letters, numbers, indentation. The only difference is, instead of words or phrases, you use complete, grammatically correct sentences for every single heading.
Every level, even the 1, 2, 3s.
Yep. Every point is a full sentence.
That sounds like more work up front. What's the benefit?
It is a bit more work up front, but it actually brings you one huge step closer to your final draft.
How so?
Because each complete sentence in your outline, especially those Roman numeral points, can often serve directly as the topic sentence for a paragraph in your actual paper.
Okay, so you're practically drafting paragraph starters.
Exactly. And if you look at a section in your sentence outline, say Roman numeral 3, and you realize, wow, points A, B, and C under here are really meaty, this paragraph will be way too long, you can easily just split it. You could make point C into a new Roman numeral IV in your outline, renumber the rest, and boom, you've planned for an additional paragraph right there in the structure.
That's really practical.
It is. And it also kind of mirrors how many professional presentations, like PowerPoints, are often built. You have a key message or sentence on the slide, which you then elaborate on. A sentence outline forces that kind of clarity early on. It's a very efficient way to move towards the final product.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's try and recap the main takeaways from this deep dive on outlining.
Sounds good. So first, we saw that writers absolutely must organize their ideas logically. Choosing that logic, chronological, spatial, or order of importance isn't random. It's driven entirely by the purpose of the writing, by what you want to achieve.
Right. And that working thesis statement, that's your initial main idea, your compass. It's powerful, but also flexible, something you expect to refine as your thinking develops through the outlining process.
Exactly. And then effective writers rely on these formal outlines, either the topic outline with its parallel phrases or the sentence outline with its complete sentences to really structure their main ideas and all the supporting details. It creates that clear, understandable framework.
A framework that starts with that precise thesis statement right at the top, Roman numeral I, and ends with a clear idea for the conclusion.
And what this all really boils down to for you listening is that an outline isn't just some rigid academic hoop to jump through.
Definitely not.
It's actually a dynamic tool. It's a blueprint that helps you achieve incredible clarity and focus. It turns that potential jumble of thoughts into a message that's coherent, compelling, and ultimately much more persuasive.
Indeed. So maybe the final thought for you to chew on is this. What stands out to you most about how this seemingly structured, maybe even restrictive process of outlining actually frees you up? Think about how having that clear structure might liberate your mind to focus not on how to organize, but on the substance, the content, the real impact of your words. It's kind of like having a really good map, isn't it? It doesn't restrict your journey. It just lets you navigate it with confidence.
Passion. Academy, where brains go to broadcast. Academy, knowledge speaks, tuition sleeps.